The 2023 NFL trade deadline is in the books. On this edition of Seahawks Today, I have my reaction to the moves that the Seahawks made. Although they did not make any moves on Tuesday, they pulled off one of the biggest trades of the entire week, bringing in Leonard Williams. We'll dive into that. Also, what all this means for this Seahawks team going forward into the second half of 2023. Let's start off with Leonard Williams. And yesterday, when the trade went down, the Seahawks' initial reaction was, wow, that's a lot. Second and a fifth for a 29-year-old defensive lineman. And I said to myself, I like the aggressiveness. I appreciate John and Pete for really going after it, for not sitting idly by, for being aggressive and addressing the need that this team had. That was great. But now, after what we saw today of what some other defensive linemen went for in trades, notably Chase Young going to the San Francisco 49ers for a third, Montez Sweat going to the Chicago Bears for a second, all of a sudden this trade looked really expensive. The Seahawks may have paid too much compared to the rest of the market for this Leonard Williams deal of giving up a second and a fifth. But even with that said, I'll say this. I'd rather them overpay and get this deal done rather than not get a deal done at all. Had they done this deal today, it probably wouldn't have had to been a second and a fifth. The Giants do take on the majority of that contract for the Seahawks giving up more draft capital. And then the flip side, too, the Seahawks, remember, have not one but 2 third-round picks. So they were in a position of strength where they said, hey, look, we can still give away that second and still have 2 day 3 picks in next year's draft. So that's what I look at. After the way things went today, it looks really expensive, but I still think it's worth it for this Seahawks team. Leonard Williams, I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm very excited to see what he brings to the Seahawks team. We've seen the track record. You go back to 2020, 11.5 sacks, 16 tackles for loss. This year, the numbers don't reflect it, but he's done a really good job holding his own and taking on a lot of double teams. You get him to Seattle, you pair him with Draymond Jones and Jarrett Reed. Leonard Williams, I think, is going to accelerate and have a big rest of the season with this Seahawks team. Pete Carroll, in his press conference after the trade for Leonard Williams, was asked about his newest addition, said this: we watched him for a long time. I've known him for a good while. Trojan and all that, and he's a fantastic football player. He's the kind of guy who can make a difference in games. He's a terrific kid as a leader and competitor, just the kind of guy you are fortunate to have on your team. What do you guys think? Our pin comment today. Did the Seahawks overpay for Leonard Williams? Why for yes and for no? Chime in that comment section. Let us know what you think if the Seahawks paid too much. We've had a busy few days here on Seahawks Today. Yesterday, we went live when the news came out, reacted to it, had a party. It was great. We were live earlier today for trade deadline day. And guess what? We're live again tomorrow for our Wednesday live show here on Seahawks Today. So if you love your Seattle Seahawks, you need to subscribe to the channel. You ain't alive, you ain't subscribed. This is why you subscribe, folks. If the Seahawks make another move of some sorts, free agency, whatever it may be, we're going to talk about it here on the channel. Subscribe now for free. You'll be glad you did. Number 2, Dee Eskridge is still a member of the Seattle Seahawks. He was not dealt on Tuesday. And so that tells me the Seahawks have a plan of some sorts for Dee Eskridge. What is it? That remains to be seen. But for now, he is currently the Seahawks' number 5 receiver on the depth chart, behind rookies Jackson Smith-Njigba and Jake Bobo. Now, to his credit, Dee Eskridge did look really good in the offseason programs leading up to training camp before he ultimately got hurt in the first snap of the preseason. We did not see him at all in his debut last week with the Seahawks off of the suspension. And so whether it's as a backup receiver or in the return game, I don't know exactly how he's going to be used, but he will be used in some way, shape, or form. We've talked about it for a while on this channel of Dee Eskridge as a trade candidate, how upset fans were with him, and rightfully so. I understand the frustrations that we've seen with Dee Eskridge, but I believe that we're going to see Dee Eskridge on the field at some point this season. What it is remains to be seen. Today's show sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. Here's what you got to do with Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, pick 2 or more players, and on any given prop, you get the choice of more or less. And I got to tell you, I've done pretty well in Prize Picks as of late. Play along with me. Here's what I got this week. I got Dak with less than 253.5 passing yards. I got Josh Allen with less than 270.5 passing yards. Play along on Prize Picks. Get that $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS for daily fantasy sports easy. Play Prize Picks today. Last on my takeaways. This is a real simple one. But management clearly believes in this Seahawks team. Because here we were after the Leonard Williams trade, and you still had some flexibility. You could have made another trade if you wanted to. But with where the Seahawks are at, this 5-2 record, first place in the division, tied for the second best record in the NFC, management has said we are all in. They made an aggressive move to give this team the pieces they need to be a championship caliber roster. We've heard from John Schneider say that they are in win now mode. They did that with this Leonard Williams trade. They showed belief in this roster. They didn't sell off anybody and say that we're going to try to get some draft capital on some of these guys and, look forward to next year. They made some big-time moves, and I love it. If you were a Seahawk fan, even if you didn't like the Leonard Williams trade, you have to be excited that this team is going all in, that they have championship aspirations, and they're going to be tested here the next few weeks right away. You get a very good Ravens team this upcoming week on the road, East Coast. Ravens are a force to be reckoned with. Then you play the Commies after that at home, which can't be taken lightly. I know they just lost Sweat and Chase Young, but Sam Howell's played very good this season. You already lost to the Rams once this season. Can't take them lightly. 49ers and Cowboys back-to-back on Thursdays, and then the Niners again on the road, and then the Eagles after that. That's tough. Titans, Steelers, Cardinals to finish out. This Seahawks team is going to be challenged these next few weeks. It's put up or shut up time. Let's see what they can do. I like where this roster is at. It's not perfect, but it's a roster you can work with. You can compete with this group. How would you grade it? Grade it for me in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. I'll go B+ for my grade. Not perfect, but it's workable. I like this group personally. Give me your grade. Subscribe now for more Seahawks coverage. We'll see you tomorrow live right here on Seahawks Today. Thanks for joining us.